Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to ChannelBK. My name is Brian. Welcome to another review. This is a movie review this time of Ex Machina, starring Domhnall Gleeson, Oscar Isaac, and I think Alicia Vikander. Obviously, I have a guest with me reviewing this. This is a good friend of mine, Max.
Hi.
Yep. So this is a cinema spoiler show. We're going to talk about it as much as we can without spoiling anything, and then we're going to have a separate part where we'll talk spoilers. But I don't know if we want to do that, because I think there's a lot to this movie that we can't really spoil. We're going to be very sort of light on a lot of stuff, but I guess the consensus right now is just go see it. Definitely go see it. Don't know anything going into it. With that being said, we'll just talk about stuff that we liked from it just in general. So here we go. So Max, being my guest, what do you think of this movie?
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, like, you definitely have to go into it with, like, an open mind. Mm-hmm. It's sort of not exactly a thriller, but it's more of a thinking movie. Mm-hmm. Definitely for those people who really want to, like, you read a book like Brave New World or something, and you read it for learning the moral. Yeah. And definitely there's a moral to this whole story. Yeah. And
lots of influences from kind of movies that came out in the past years. One movie that came out last year starring Scarlett Johansson, Under the Skin, it kind of reminded me of. Also, we said during the movie that it reminded us a lot of Her. There's like some elements of that in there, as well as the setting, meaning like it's not really 10 years in the future, but you kind of can tell that it's like now, but it's still like a little ahead with certain little like CGI stuff that they do and all that sort of stuff. So one of the things that the reason why we're not spoiling anything is there's a lot of twists and turns. A lot of stuff I didn't expect. I don't know if you expected a lot of what was going to happen.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of like commercials and stuff for it, but I mean, I went into it sort of thinking it was going to be like a Frankenstein kind of thing. Yeah. You know, like a man creates whatever because he's a god, and you know, like that whole kind of like just Frankenstein concept. Yeah, and great character dynamic too, because Domhnall Gleeson and Oscar Isaac, before we see them in the new Star Wars movie together, we're seeing them in here. I've loved Domhnall Gleeson from the couple movies I've seen him in, and then Oscar Isaac is obviously, this is actually the first movie I've seen him in. I know he's been in like Llewyn Davis and A Most Violent Year and stuff. I thought they were both really good. He had a really interesting look to him. Like, I liked his look a lot, Oscar Isaac. Yeah, also Domhnall Gleeson from About Time.
Oh, Domhnall Gleeson also from About Time, because that's where you know him from. I know him from Frank, but he always looks so different too. And he had a great American accent.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like it's really, he's one of those type of interesting actors where he kind of changes up a little bit. But I believe that's the actress's name. I know I already said it, but I looked it up. It's Alicia Vikander. I've never seen her in anything, but I thought she was really good because she sort of had to play somewhat dry, but somewhat like just very emotional at some parts, and like a real human, because she plays the AI in here. And I thought she was great. She had a great look to her, and that's another great thing about this movie too, is the makeup, the set design, like the imagery, like the color scheme. It was very beautiful to look at in terms of a movie. Cinematography. So, I don't know if you kind of feel the same way, like if you were struck by any of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it definitely, like, that was most of the stuff I remember really well. I thought that the CGI and stuff, it wasn't like, it didn't take away too much from the film for sure. Oh, yeah. It was, I mean, it was definitely a quality movie. Yeah.
Again, like, the writing is so well done to where sometimes you're kind of expecting stuff just from watching normal movies. Like, you're like, oh, there's a twist here, but it goes at a very interesting pace. And like I said, visually, there's a certain thing that's used in a certain plot to the story on the title cards. I know you know what I'm talking about. I thought that was really striking, and the music did a really good job in this movie too. Very haunting score, because it wasn't too much. It was very like haunting throughout the whole thing, or very kind of weirdly colorful when it needed to be.
It almost felt like different acts of a Shakespeare play or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what it felt like. Like, it felt really interesting, and it's crazy because the plot itself, I guess I don't want this to sound too much like a spoiler, so I guess mute it quickly and I'll wave my hands. The film takes place over the course of a week, and it feels very long, and you feel each day go by in a way. I thought that was really cool. So
each test is sort of like put into a scene, or an act anyway.
And it sort of starts in a way. It either starts it or it goes through after a while.
Yeah.
Okay, quick spoiler over. But yeah, overall, I mean, because I don't want to do like a spoiler section, because I feel like something I discussed with him is this is a movie where even if I were to say the spoilers, you get spoiled, but there's certain contexts that you need to know. And I feel like a lot of what happens in the third act is very difficult to just say without people either just not knowing what it is and then just going into it and being fine, or sometimes it's very much you need to just know a context. But it's a very grim movie, but it is very unsettling. That was something I got. It felt like the movie never told you how to feel. Like, it never felt like you should feel comfortable, but it never necessarily was unsettling to the point where you didn't want to watch. Like, it had this really eerie tone, but it was also very intriguing because I think they worked really well together, all three of them, with each other. And the script, I think, was really well done in that regard, too. So... yeah,
I saw like an online little review of it, and they didn't want it to be like some kind of like thing that like knocks on robots and stuff like taking over the world. They didn't want it to be some kind of Terminator movie. Yeah. They wanted it to be something you thought about and something that you sort of just like had a little empathy for.
Yeah, and I've never actually watched a movie that Alex Garland, this is his directorial debut, wrote. Because I know he wrote like 28 Days Later and Sunshine and stuff like that, so I still need to go on those movies. But it's cool that he's been working with Danny Boyle because he is a very unique director and there is a lot of unique elements to this movie. But I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, I don't want to, obviously we're not going to do a spoiler section, but I think just through this review, I just could keep saying, just go see it. Don't know anything. Go see it. Go see it. I think everything about it is super well done, including a really kind of funny but creepy sequence in the middle. I think you've heard about it or people are tweeting about it. All I'm going to say is dancing. That's all I'm going to say. And when it happened, I know you were laughing. I kind of was a little bit... I was kind of creeped out a little bit. But again, the visuals and the tone doesn't know, like, you don't know how to feel, and it goes in very different directions.
Yeah.
And you don't know what's going to happen, but you don't care because you're always intrigued by the dialogue and all of them together. I think this is the first movie in a while where you sort of want to know what's going on with somebody when you don't see them. Like, you're sort of wondering, what are they doing at this point? Like, what are they thinking? And a better AI movie than Chappie. Jesus, Chappie was a disappointment. He hasn't seen it, so he doesn't know my pain, but Chappie was. This was the sci-fi movie I wanted to see, and I think it did a much better job in this sort of realm. And again, great themes, and it's a really classic sci-fi. It's not like Neil Blomkamp sci-fi. The imagery is very much something you would see from, like, decades ago. So I guess the consensus is anything else you want to kind of talk about?
I mean, you're not going to go into it and be like super bored or anything. It's no like, I'm not saying Space Odyssey is like super boring, but like it's no Space Odyssey. You're going to go in, it's going to be like, what, an hour and a half or something?
Yeah, and I never felt like it went by slow because I was always intrigued with it, so it goes by quick. So
I mean, you're thinking about it and stuff, but at the same time, it's also entertaining.
I think that's a good thing too. It's like because I know you mentioned it earlier where you're like, it's a big thinking movie. You don't really need to necessarily, like, I think the dialogue's really intricate, but it doesn't feel like it's going over your head because it either gets explained later or you sort of, it's very level to where like the way they explain it is like, okay, I could kind of see what he's saying. And there's a lot of great dialogue between them about science stuff, Domhnall and Oscar. So yeah, I mean, just go see the movie. It's my favorite movie of the year, even though I've only seen 4 movies. So I definitely say go see it. You obviously recommend it as well. So, But yeah, definitely go see the movie. It's worth your while. I know it's out wide finally, so that's why we were able to see it. So definitely go check it out. If you guys saw the movie though, what'd you guys think? Put it in the comments below. Again, what you think of all the components that we've been talking about and stuff like that. And if you are gonna spoil something, I suggest you don't. But if you are, put some tag or something so other people don't get pissed off at you. But yeah, thank you guys for... Trolls, exactly. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my good friend Max for joining me on this review. I'll probably figure out if I'm going to put any of his social media and stuff in the comments below so you could check him out with all that stuff. But thank you guys so much for tuning in to ChannelBK. Peace out, guys. Who wants a hot tub?
Me.